What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jamie, early gang, what's up, girl? Yeah, I was streaming a little earlier than usual today. Work has been dead slow and I'm like freaking out, so I'm just trying to stay busy. You know, idle hands. Trying not to stress about bills and stuff and how I'm gonna pay them. But, you know, moving on. On to good, great, massive, if you will, things. The Riot MMO. We're here to talk about it today. I am so excited about this. I've been diving deep into this lately. It just has me so hooked. It has me so intrigued. I'm a huge Riot Games fan. I'm a huge Riot Games nerd. I don't play League of Legends, so maybe I'm not the best person to talk about this. I'm not a League player, but I love Riot Games. I play Valorant on and off stream all the time. You guys know this. I appreciate the DMCA free music that Riot Music provides for creators. I'm intrigued by Project L, their new fighter game that's coming out. It's in development right now, and I'm absolutely obsessed with Arcane. Arcane just absolutely blew me away. I've watched the first season over 5 times now, and it's only left me craving more information about Runeterra and the lore of League of Legends. Yeah, Arcane, man, Arcane. I can't say enough good things about Arcane. The combination of Fortitia's art design and Riot's sound design, world building, and master storytelling, it had me so immersed and blown away. It's, you know, leaving me only wanting more. So I dove deep, and I discovered a lot. I discovered that if Riot wanted to, they could single-handedly build a massive metaverse constructed with 13 years of League of Legends lore and world building. They could potentially create the greatest MMO RPG ever made. So here's what I discovered. Let's dive in. First of all, let's start by addressing the fact that this is not a rumor. This is 100% confirmed. This is right here on riotgames.com/en/MMO-recruiting. We're making an MMO. Yes, it's true. Boom. No, you're not dreaming. We're working on an MMO RPG based in the League universe. We know MMOs take a lot of people to create, and we'll need a pretty big raid team if we want to bring Runeterra to life. That's where you come in. We'll periodically post new roles, but right now we don't have any specific openings on the team. Basically, they're hiring. They're looking for, you know, developers and things like that. This is what they're looking for: gameplay engineering, game design, UX design, game art, all sub-disciplines, and game production. So if you're into it, I mean, if you're into those things, if you're, you know, a skilled developer, get involved, because they're looking for teammates, you know. They're looking for developers who have direct experience in MMOs, but that's not required for every role. So check it out. Look into it. If you're interested, go for it. I know what we do know is Greg Street at Ghostcrawler on Twitch. He's the EP of the MMO project at Riot Games. He previously he was the head of IP at Riot. I mean, he was the head of IP at Riot, but now he was a lead designer on LOL, on League of Legends, and World of Warcraft. So that's an interesting note. He was a lead designer on World of Warcraft, the most popular MMORPG ever, you know? And he's also an oceanographer, so I appreciate that. Jamie, I think you'd appreciate that, right? He's an oceanographer, man. He's one of us. You know, he digs wildlife. I appreciate that. I sure appreciate that. And now a quick look into his LinkedIn. He's the VP and EP of MMO, the R&D project at Riot Games, which is the MMO project. But look at his history. Look at his past. Like, his experience. I mean, this guy, he's been working for Riot since 2013. He leads the gameplay design, or led the gameplay design for League of Legends. He, what else did he do here? Head of Creative Development, Design Director, VP, EP, MMO, R&D. So normally you'd say unannounced project at this stage, but we announced this one because we want to attract the industry's best and brightest to help with the monumental undertaking where player expectations are sky high. If you have experience building MMOs, please reach out. Boom. So let's dive even deeper into this with a little bit of research right on Riot's website. Or if you go to map.leagueoflegends.com, this is the official map. Check this out. They already have the world built. Look at this. Loading. Please hold. Come on. I think I have too many tabs open. What is going on? Come on. Okay, really? Come on. Let's try this again. Hang tight, chat. Hang tight. So how you guys been? How's your day going? What's going on, Jamie? What have you been up to? Alright, I guess I can close these tabs. I have to close some stuff. Man, what is going on? I'm struggling here. Usually my internet's like so fast. I think we need a little refresher. Robin, looking for a motherfucking house for ages? Really? You're in the market, huh? Interesting, interesting. Where you looking? Up north? Is this map really not going to load right now? What the heck? Here we go. Runeterra. So that's what the world is called. The League of Legends world. And there's supposed to be a map that loads behind this. Why is this struggling so bad right now? There we go. Oh, right in time with the music. Oh, yeah. Runeterra, explore and discover. So you can go to map.leagueoflegends.com and explore this for yourself. Begin exploring. Look at this. They already have the whole map here. Now, if you've seen Arcane, you know that Arcane took place right here in this one little tiny section. That massive world of Arcane took place in Piltover and Zaun. Now, I love the idea of Piltover and Zaun because it's like this massive class divide between the government and like the well-to-do people up top. Oh my god, why is this not loading right now? This is struggling. It's bad timing. Here, bad timing. Help me out. Come on. Come on. Need a little help here. Okay, there we go. Piltover and Zaun. Dual city-states that control the major trade routes between Valoran and Shurima. Home both to visionary inventors and their wealthy patrons. The divide between social classes is becoming more dangerous. So right there. This is what the world... This is kind of like the baseline of Arcane. It all took place right here. The main characters are from Zaun. They're from the Undercity, you know, down in Zaun. The polluted Undercity. So let me see. In the environment, look at this. You can go so in depth here. This whole website has the whole world built out. So Zaun is like this steampunk, futuristic type of underbelly of a city. Kind of grungy. It's badass though. It's so cool. I really love Arcane. I'm obsessed with Arcane. But like, look at this. Just imagine immersing yourself into this world. This is one half of a city. The potential of this MMORPG is just limitless. And then Piltover is the thriving coastal city. That's the city up top. So let me see. Environment. Look at this. So it's like, you know, this is where like the rich people live. They get good, you know, they get universal healthcare. This is where like the government and like the fascist enforcers and stuff all live. And they all look down on the underbelly, the people of the Undercity. It's so badass. But this is 13 years of world building. League of Legends was first developed in 2009. Think about that, 2009. And people are still obsessed with it. Like seriously, the isometric top-down style, it's so outdated. I can't play it. I can't personally play it. I hate that isometric top-down point and click where to go. It's just outdated. It's too old. I want new modern mechanics. I want a new game. But this is just so cool. Like, there's just so much here. You can go and look at it for yourself. My computer is apparently struggling right now. Ay, ay, ay. All right. But I have more. But wait, there's more. I have found so many. I've created this playlist over the past few days. I found so many badass cinematics that truly show the potential of what Riot could create. We have some, you know, you've probably seen them if you're interested in the MMO, the Riot MMO at all. You've seen the videos by Necrit. The World of Riot's MMO is already done. And he also did a video on races and classes of Riot's MMO according to lore. Really informative videos, good stuff. We'll watch them. We'll react to them. We'll watch them together if you want. Let me know. But we're going to start right off with some of these cinematics. The cinematics were created by Digic Pictures, and they're just so beautifully done. And it truly shows like the potential of what this MMO could possibly look like. I'm not saying this is what it's going to look like for sure, but I'm just saying this is what it could potentially look like. Let's get started. This is also kind of a test to see if any of these videos are going to give me a DMCA strike on the channel. All right, check this out though. This is so badass. Fig, what's going on, brother? Welcome back, man.
To the fallen, leave me to be with the broken one last time before I go. Hold the last burning ember, legends never surrender. Rise up to the call for the glory and the
God damn. Are you serious? That's just one cinematic, ladies and gentlemen. I have more. I have more. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But holy crap. Like, okay, so these cinematics were created by Digic Pictures. They do all their cinematics lately. The 2022 cinematics have been next level from League of Legends. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go from here. But holy shit. It is absolutely incredible. Like, there's so much potential here. The cinematics alone, I mean, there's just so much hype around this MMO. Like, if they don't do what the people want, like, you know, this is what the people want. People don't want that old school isometric top-down style of League of Legends. They want a new MMO like Elden Ring style, third person, where you can truly immerse yourself into the world. There's so much potential, guys. This could be the greatest MMORPG ever made. So, let's learn a little bit more.
In the past, MMOs were regarded as
Alright, sorry. This guy's funny. He's like a scuffed Mr. Beast. I love him. He kind of looks like a foreign Mr. Beast. I can't help but think that. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. This guy has a lot of good information. Fig, I don't want the top-down style like they did. Exactly, man. Nobody does. I mean, I know I don't. I just really want a modern game from Riot Games. I want a modern MMORPG. One that's going to last over the next 10 years like World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? And I wasn't even a World of Warcraft nerd. I never even played that game. I just got into MMORPGs recently. Basically through New World. New World was like the first one I fully immersed myself in. And I fell in love. Like I truly did. And I just love Riot Games all around. I love what they do. I love what they do with the DMCA free music. I love their production level is just next level these days. And with Arcane that came out, it was just, oh my god, it was just so beautiful. The art by Fortiche, I think they're a French company. It's amazing. But yeah, then Elden Ring, Fig. Yeah, Elden Ring completely consumed me. If Riot can pull off any kind of a world, like world building, anything similar to Elden Ring, this will be the most successful game ever made. And they would make so much money off cosmetics. Now, I know it's been talked about. You know, this is nothing new. But think about it. We need to be talking about these games when these games are in this early developmental stages, because it can truly help mold development into what we want it to be. If nobody's talking about it, they're just going to create a game that they think we want, probably isometric top-down style like League of Legends, that nobody wants. We need to talk about it more. So the more people talking about it, the better. I don't think it's out. I mean, it's not out talked about at all. You know, it's not. We don't even know anything about it really. This is all speculation, folks. Everything I'm telling you right now, it's all speculation. We don't know shit. We're just hoping for the best. But it's in good hands. I do know that. Riot Games, they're doing amazing things lately. I really love what they're doing, and I think it's in good hands. So let's see what Scuffed Mr. Beast has to say about it, aka Necrit. This guy's been super popular lately. Asmongold Gold has been reacting to his videos and everything, and he's just like completely blown up. But he has so much information on, like, he's been a League of Legends player since probably release. And he just has so much information. So let's hear what he has to say about it.
In the past, MMOs were regarded as the godfathers of games. They were the peak of what developers could accomplish. Even though, looking back, that's a fairly subjective thing to say. Everyone knew MMOs had the power to create cult following, but also everyone knew making MMOs was hard. On average, an MMO has to spend at least 6 years in the baking before it can get anywhere near being good. But that didn't stop companies from jumping onto the bandwagon anyway. And soon we could see dozens of new MMOs. All
First of all, why is he in his pajamas? Like, I want to know. He's done two of his most popular videos ever. He's standing here in his fucking PJs. Like, what?
Releasing in 2008. All being called the WoW.
Okay, and is it just me? I'm sorry. I don't want to keep pausing him. These are the last time I'll pause him. But doesn't he look like Mr. Beast? He's like Mr. Beast with like an Abe Lincoln beard. No disrespect. Mad love for this guy. Mad love for this guy. But I just some slight observations.
Killers. Spoiler alert, none of them did that. And unfortunately, we can feel the ripple effects even now. It got to a point where every time a new MMO is announced, we all think the same thing. Oh. Anyway, when you're working on an MMO, you have to respect 3 pillars. Gameplay is king, social interactions matter, and the world setting is important. When Riot and...
I mean, that's very accurate. Those are 3 of the most important pillars of a MMORPG. Okay, so he's going right here to Greg Street. This is the guy I was just telling you about. Go follow him on Twitter. This is the guy. He's the lead of the Riot MMO. So if you want any new information about the Riot MMO, go follow Ghostcrawler on Twitter. But right here, I have news. My recent job at Riot has been to help develop the League universe, which we're going to need, because it is time. My new job is to kick off a big, some might say massive, game that many of you and many Rioters have been asking us to create. P.S. We're hiring. And then right here, somebody comments, tell me now, is it an MMO? Will I be able to pick my waifu's clothes and hairstyle? You know, get into the real stuff. The questions we all want to really know. And he says, boom, he confirms it is an MMO. And like I said, I mean, I showed you guys already the official Riot website. This is not speculation. This is happening. There is a Riot MMO in development. It's happening.
Announced their MMO, it became clear that 2 of the pillars are being respected, and the third one is already done. When it comes to the gameplay, it is currently in the hands of Ghostcrawler, someone who's been working on WoW during its best times, and someone who got a reputation for hating boomkins and loving mages. When it comes to the social interactions, it is a dance between the developers and the players. A dev can guide players towards social interactions, or they can annihilate them. And after that, the players usually find their own fun inside the MMO. From that point on, the devs should do everything in their power to support the players having fun in their own way. And finally, when it comes to the world of an MMO, in Riot's case, it's done. And it's been finished for quite a few years now. In fact, the world of Riot's MMO is in such a good state. They already have the continents, the zones, the cultures and the races. And to a lesser degree, every zone already has its own storyline. Now, of course, unless you follow the lore of League of Legends, you wouldn't know about this. And that's why I decided to make this video. I want to show you all the zones we are going to see in the MMO and what sorts of quests we are going to do there. So, for the purpose of this video, I will assume you have no idea what League of Legends is about. You have no idea what the universe is about, but you like MMOs, your hairline is receding, and you have a crippling fear of Nintendo 64 controllers. To which I might add, why do you think I'm wearing hats? But now, without further ado,
A little
let's have a look at
Asmongold
all the
reference?
zones in Riot's MMO. This is Runeterra, the world of League of Legends. Right now, the world is separated into 10 main regions. But these 10 regions don't cover all the land on the map, so there are some mini-zones in between them. And the lore already revealed that there is gonna be another continent further to the east.
A little DLC?
That definitely sounds like a future expansion to me. In fact, it would be foolish to release all of these regions at launch. You can easily turn half of these into separate expansions.
So he's right. I mean, like I said, all of Arcane, the whole first season, that massive world that we saw in the show Arcane, literally took place in this one little area right here. There's so much more. Like, oh my god, just wait.
And because a lot of people already know and love these regions, the hype behind these expansions would be big. With that said, I know a lot of you would like to play as Shurimans or Ionians. And now you may be cursing me for suggesting that these would be expansions. But the lore can justify giving you these nations as playable races without having their regions. I'll show you how Riot can pull this off in a bit. First, let's talk about the regions Riot's MMO has to start with. The Northern Continent. This entire continent is called Valoran. Not Valorant, Valoran.
Now, this had me thinking. I mean, Valoran and Valorant, I mean, there's no such thing as coincidence, right? So this had me thinking, I wonder if all the events of the game that I love, Valorant, I wonder if they all take place on the continent of Valoran. What are the chances? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they, honestly? I mean, we all love Valorant. And League of Legends happens to have a whole continent called Valoran. Like, come on, it's a little too similar. It's a little too similar. So I don't know. I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm like kind of hoping that this massive Riot MMO, even though they say it takes place in the League of Legends universe, do you think it could be possibly a crossover event with Valorant? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they would pull it off. I'm just totally just winging it. I'm speculating out my ass for sure. But it's just interesting. You know, they have a whole continent called Valoran. What are the chances?
And this is where the absolute core of this world is. The two main regions here are Demacia and Noxus. They are the two big rivals equivalent to the Horde and the Alliance. While I would like to say that Demacia is your classic normie human region, it's not really true. Runeterra doesn't really have a normal place. There is something cool happening in every region. And Demacia has racism. Okay, maybe not racism, because
cool.
Demacia doesn't mind Yordles or Minotaurs, but they really hate mages. That's because in the past, their rivals almost annihilated half of the world using magic. And so Demacia was built inside a magic-absorbing forest. Therefore, Demacia is a really cool place where you can hide from magic. When it comes to the visuals of the zone, you can
So this has me super intrigued as well. Because I love the aspect of Arcane about like the class wars. You know, it's basically like the fascist enforcers versus the underbelly, the lower class underbelly. The battle, the fight we could be facing in a Riot MMO, like it could be really cool. They could have like full-on class wars where there are like mage outlaws. You could play it like, you know me, I'm gonna be maging against the machine, just like Elden Ring. You could have like mage outlaws, and you could be fighting like fascist enforcers. I think it could be really cool. And right now, with like the state of the world and everything that's been happening over the past few years, it's just very relevant. And you know, it's definitely like mirroring real life. But it could be really, really cool. I think it could be really cool. I can't wait to be a badass mage outlaw just taking down enforcers. Fuck it. It's gonna be so sick. It's gonna be so sick. Leah, what's going on, girl? Welcome back to the stream. How are you? Definitely a reference, Fig? Yeah, I hope so, man. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely a reference, but I wonder if Valorant completely takes place on the continent of Valoran. I wonder if the worlds are intermingled and we just don't even know it. I know in Valorant, like, I have the Jinx calling card and I have Jinx's gun and stuff. There was a crossover event where you could get these things. So, I mean, maybe they do take place in the same universe. I don't know. We'll see. All right, moving on.
see a lot of lush fields, it is surrounded by mountains, but the iconic part of Demacia are the buildings. They are made of petricite, which is a combination of stone and the magic-absorbing wood.
Whoa.
Because these ancient magic-absorbing trees were grey, all the buildings have a marble-like appearance. And yes,
beautiful.
given what material they are using, all the buildings in Demacia also absorb magic.
Fig, you gonna be an enforcer? Dude, it's on, baby, it's on. I'm gonna take you down.
So should a mage visit this region, let's just say it's gonna be a painful experience. On top of this, let's not forget that Demacians can weaponize petricite. They can turn it into petricite steel, which gives you your classic anti-magic weapons, and you can sculpt petricite constructs which wake up after absorbing magic. Simply said, these guys just really don't like magic. The irony is, they've
It's Fig. Fucking Fig, he hates mages. He's a racist bastard.
been absorbing it for years now. And this is where the story would kick in. You see, the Demacians are so afraid of magic, they founded the Mage Seeker Order. This is an order of people who hunt mages, they throw them into prison, and they torture them until their body gives up on magic.
Fig.
So yes, being a mage is a crime in Demacia. The thing is, people still get naturally born with magical abilities. You can't stop it from happening. So not only are there mages hiding in the royal court, right now there is a mage civil war happening in Demacia, where mages and people who don't hate mages rise up to fight for moral rights. So should we do some quests in this zone? This is gonna be the core story. Mages trying to overthrow racist leadership following old laws.
Hell yeah.
So the main enemy NPCs might be mages and witches. But I know what you're thinking now, and don't worry. There will be plenty of boars to kill here too. Or at least there are loads of wolves here, as well as stags.
Hell
and we
yeah.
can't forget the iconic Demacian raptors.
Ooh.
But further to the south, we might find some crag beasts, tiny woolly elephants, and yes, of course in the
Adorable.
Argent Mountains there are also dragons. Loads and loads of dragons.
We
But
love
that's
dragons.
about it for Demacia. Fun fact, the capital city of Demacia is called the Great City of Demacia. Sounds
Fair
dumb,
enough.
but Runeterra was not the first one to come up with this. But thankfully the other regions are a bit more creative with their names. So now, let's move away from the normie region and let's have a look at the badass region. Noxus. If you're planning on playing a warrior with oversized weapons and overcompensating lush hair, this is the region for you. This place actually has a long and badass history, but we really don't have the time to explain it now. So just know that originally it was built by the most badass warrior in the history of Runeterra. This motherfucker literally died on a mountain of corpses. And
Damn.
after he died, he was too angry to stay dead, so he just became the god of the underworld.
Okay, so this reminds me of a point. Riot is not holding back. these days. If you've watched Arcane, I mean, I was watching it last night for literally my 5th or 6th full playthrough because I'm obsessed. They kill kids. They drop F-bombs. Like it would be a rated R movie if it was a movie. You know what I mean? It's badass. They don't hold back. So the worlds that they could be building for this, it could be like a Elden Ring level of violence and badassery. You know what I mean? Like I don't think, since League of Legends is like a little like, you know, it's a little softer. I don't think Riot is gonna hold back at all on this. I really hope they don't.
When this guy lived, he built the Immortal Bastion, which is to this day the largest structure on the entirety of Runeterra. And currently he is banished underneath the Immortal Bastion, but only a few people know about it. So, you know, that's a future raid boss.
Yeah, raid boss.
Anyway, the Immortal Bastion is the capital city of the Noxian Empire, with Noxus being one of the most brutal nations in Runeterra. It is brutal because the nation is surrounded by rocky earth. It is hard to grow plants here. So Noxians are forced into conquering surrounding land for resources to survive. That's why when you go to the map, you can notice that the Noxian territory is all over the place. It's because these are all the places Noxus has already conquered. Although, when I say it like that, you may imagine Noxus brutally raiding everything. But that's not true. They like to absorb the surrounding nations into their empire. After all, it's just more human resources. Most of the time, they only remove the royalty and they let the leaderless people join their empire. And that's because Noxus values strength above all. And rulers tend to not be good fighters. This is what you can see in the After Victory cinematic. They kill the king because he was weak and let everyone else join them. Fun fact, conquering nations is so iconic for Noxus, they have their own saying. Kill them until they are family. So when it comes to the quests in Noxus, it is most likely going to be helping the Empire expand its territory. Although, this region has its own unique enemies too. Inside the Immortal Bastion, there is a cult known as the Black Rose. This cult is connected to the darkest of magics. So be ready to fight Hemomancers, witches, demons, and the Grey Legion, which is an army of soldiers revived with blood magic to fight for the Empire again. And when it comes to collecting 10 bear asses, here we have the native Drakehounds and Basilisks. Now, while Noxus and Demacia are the main rivals here, both of them are also constantly repelling raids from the north. So now, let's have a look at the Freljord. Just like pretty much any region on Runeterra, Freljord has a long history. But for the purpose of this video, just know that the maddening old gods known as the Watchers of the Void, who want to devour the entire reality only because it keeps waking them up, once tried to breach into reality here. They almost succeeded because they tricked the Ice Witch Lysandra into helping them.
The Ice Witch?
Fortunately, she realized how wrong she was, and she managed to freeze half of the kingdom with the Watchers still beneath them.
Wow.
So these days, the Ice Witch is the only person holding back the end of reality by keeping the Watchers frozen.
Whoa.
So at some point in the future, you bet one of these woken up frozen Watchers is gonna be a raid boss.
Oh my god.
Now, when it comes to the NPCs, this is where things get diverse. First of all, remember that the Freljord is brutally cruel. Everything is frozen, and survival is everything. So the first enemy here would be the wildlife. From Rhymefangs to Yetis to Druvasks to Elnuks to Mammoths to the worst of them all, Poros. Next we are going to fight the Freljordians themselves.
I think I could take those little
bastards. There are three main tribes here. The Avarosans, who are quite peaceful, the Wintersclaw, who are quite brutal, and the Frostguard, Lysandra's followers who hold back the Watchers. And let me tell you, these guys have some badass armor. Among the notable tribes there are also the Ursine, which are shamans who worship the Volibear, the primal god of the wild who slowly turns his worshippers into twisted animalistic monstrosities. Speaking of which, yes, there are also the primal gods of Freljord. And finally, we need to talk about the Iceborn. When the Watchers tried to arrive here, they tainted the ice around them. This special ice is called the True Ice, and it is so dangerous you literally die if you touch it. However, the Watchers also tainted some people, giving them the ability to touch the ice. It is still extremely painful for them to hold a true ice weapon, but at least they can survive it. These people are known as the Iceborn. But people were not the only things that were tainted. There are also ice trolls, some of whom are also Iceborn. To be honest, these guys were made to have their own dungeon. But there are also some animals that were twisted by the Watchers.
What?
And Lysandra is even twisting some beings herself to make them serve her. So overall, Freljord is gonna have a lot of cool warriors, shamans, and horrors. So these would be the 3 regions on the main continent. But this place is actually so big it can easily make the base world of the game.
Right.
Especially since there are a bunch of smaller regions in between them. There is Nockmerge, full of witches, Argent Mountains with their dragons,
Yeah.
Tokgol with void monsters,
Sick.
Dalamore Plains with him, and so
Okay.
much more. But from here, you can cleverly set up the expansions because of how well everything
Right.
is interconnected. So now, let's have a look at the continent to the east called Ionia.
Ionia's
Ionia
beautiful.
has a very close connection to Noxus. You can only guess why. It's because Noxians once tried to conquer it all during an event simply called the Invasion of Ionia. This was a horrible war full of using children as soldiers because Noxians thought
That's what
Ionians
Fig
would
does.
fight back against children. And chemical weapons. Lots and lots of chemical weapons.
Damn.
Speaking of which, remember Singed from Arcane?
Yeah.
He's the guy who chemically devastated Ionia.
Oh, what?
Eventually, Noxus failed, but they kept their small controlled territories. So the first quest here could be simply boarding a ship, sailing over, and exploring the place for the Noxian Empire.
Yeah, see, that's what
Now,
Ionia
when it
looks
comes to-
like. It's like a nature. It's like very natural wonders. I think like the planet's kind of like alive, if I remember correctly.
Ionia itself, the place gets mystical. Everything here is alive and connected to the spirit of nature. And I mean everything, from
Like,
the
look at that.
animals to the people to the buildings. Everything is alive. So if you anger Mother Nature, your house can twist and strangle you in your sleep. So you can only imagine how Mother Nature fought against Noxians. Usually a river came alive to drown them. That's
Sick.
why all the buildings here look like they were woven from wood. It's because they were. With nature magic, people let nature build their houses. It also means that sometimes your house can just walk away. When it comes to the NPCs here, obviously there is gonna be a lot of nature spirits. And a lot more of simply mystical animals. From giant flying tigers to the never-ending story. But be ready to
Falcor.
also face local
Hell yeah.
Ionians, Blade Masters, Shadow Cultists, Murderers,
Like Freya's house in God of War. Yeah, Fig, that's so true. This is where Freya would live. This is why I'm really intrigued by Ionia. I feel like it's going to be a beautiful... And I know there's like dragons. There's a lot of dragons in Ionia. Ionia is going to be one of the coolest territories for sure.
and ninjas, both good, bad, and the in-between. But finally, there is also one more enemy that we could face. The furries. That's right, this race is known as
Okay.
the Vastaya. They are half humans and half magical animals. And yes, canonically, the species was born in exactly the way you are thinking. But to be fair, the Vastaya are quite cool and they are definitely gonna be a playable race. Just like Yordles, who also like Ionia a lot. Lastly, after Noxians ravaged Mother Nature...
Yeah, the Vastaya is really cool. I can't wait to make like a badass, like half animal, half human character. I just hope we're not like limited to selecting the League of Legends characters, their base characters. You know what I mean? I really hope that there's a whole character creation and a character creation system. I really hope there's a whole character creation system where we can create our own characters. I mean, otherwise, what's the point, you know? I think there will be.
Demons started occupying all the places filled with misery and doubt. So that's gonna be a nice bonus enemy. So yes, the exploration of Ionia and the raid on the Shadow Order could be a really cool first expansion. But it's definitely not Riot's only option, because we can also go south to Piltover and Zaun.
Yes.
These are the ones people will know about, simply because this is where Arcane took place. Piltover and Zaun are two massive cities located one above the other. And they are so massive they could easily be turned into their own playable zones. They are both focusing on futuristic technology powered up by magic of the Hextech gemstones. Using this magic, they can power up anything from guns to augmented limbs to vehicles. Visually, it is simply futuristic Victorian era. And unfortunately,
Steampunk.
there wouldn't be much of enemy variety. We would likely fight the rich houses of Piltover and their deadly assassins, with the occasional thief on the streets, corrupt wardens, and the
Fig.
occasional rogue steam golem. But things get a bit more interesting in the undercity known as Zaun.
Yeah.
Zaun is the dirty underbelly covered in thick toxic smoke. Because the majority of people are poor here, they developed a cheaper alternative to Hextech called Chemtech. This artificial green stuff can power up cheaper limb replacements, as well as highly unstable weaponry. Zaun is also controlled by the Chem Barons, which are obviously gonna be the main enemy here. But on the side, we may also meet some chemical mutants, unstable constructs, as well as some mass murderers and people who hunt down mass murderers. And funnily enough, at the very bottom of Zaun itself, there are the hidden ruins of an ancient city full of traps.
Whoa.
That is obviously gonna be a cool dungeon.
Yeah, that sounds
So
cool.
yes, there is not much more that I can add here. Piltover and Zaun were simply explored in Arcane. So
I highly recommend watching Arcane if you're at all interested in this world.
if you like the series, you are gonna like this place. From here, we can travel further south to Shurima. Shurima used to be a massive empire that ruled the world. But after the emperor got betrayed by his best friend, the entire empire collapsed. This region is a massive desert with the occasional city near a river. In the center of the region, there is the Sun Disk, a colossal piece of star metal that has the power to reflect celestial magic. The Shurimans use this celestial magic to turn their best soldiers into the Ascended, also
Whoa.
known as the Golden God Warriors.
Like Egyptian
However,
gods.
these God Warriors wouldn't make a great enemy here. That's because after the Emperor had died, the Ascended started fighting for leadership. And slowly, after learning how to use blood magic to gain the edge, they morphed their own bodies and became the Darkin. Twisted, blood-frenzied monsters that would certainly make really cool raid bosses. Besides this ancient evil, Shurima is also full of its own animals, raiders, dune scavengers, and on top of all of that, void creatures.
Sick.
That's because to the south, there used to be a kingdom known as Ikathia that wanted to destroy the Shuriman Empire. So, they asked the Watchers for help. You can imagine how that went.
What?
The Watchers sent through some void beasts that consumed Ikathia and polluted Shurima to this day.
Like, if we get to experience some of these major big level war events, like, that's gonna be some really badass gameplay. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this could be even more epic than Elden Ring. Leah, man, I wish my house would just get up and walk away. True, me too. Same. Can't afford this place anymore.
To fight back the Void, Shurima does have a lot of hidden tombs around with hidden God Warrior weapons. Not to mention that Shurima also has a circle of time mages who are trying to freeze the Void in time.
What?
Now, as I mentioned
Did he just say time mages? Time mages. Sick.
near the beginning of the video, even if Shurima becomes an expansion, they can still easily make Shurimans a playable race because they are already connected to Noxus. As you can see, of course, Noxians already conquered part of Shurima, so some Shurimans are fighting for Noxus. Also, as a cool fact for those of you who liked Arcane, Hex Crystals are harvested in Shurima. That's why a Shuriman expansion would be a great follow-up to Piltover and Zaun. And again,
Right.
that's why Riot can easily turn only the northern continent into the base world.
That's a very good point. I mean, they could start off with this northern continent where you could explore Freljord, I'm not going to say that right, Demacian, and Noxus, and then maybe like end it at Piltover and Zaun. That would be really cool. A cool way to end like the first, chapter of the MMO. And then with the next DLC, they could head south into Shurima and stuff. Shurima is really cool. It seems like it's like desert style, but it seems like it's also like has like a lot of like Egyptian influences. It's gonna be really, really cool.
Anyway, going west from Shurima, we arrive at Mount Targon. This place
is cool.
incredibly unique. First of all, this mountain is not natural. It was literally pulled up from the ground by celestial gods. And that's because this place serves as a portal to the celestial realm, also known as Targon Prime.
Looks like Tatooine? Yeah, exactly. That's very true, Fig. That's actually a good point. That's a good reference. It does look like Tatooine.
Now, because this mountain was pulled up, it also has some unique features. For example, you may find frozen lakes frozen horizontally on the mountain.
What?
And the very peak of the mountain is special too. Should a mortal reach the peak despite the brutal climate and the deadly wildlife, either they die from exhaustion, or the celestial gods deem them worthy and they become an ascended aspect.
What?
There is aspect of war, aspect of the sun, aspect of the moon, aspect of the twilight, aspect of the guardian, and so on. Simply said, after people reach the peak, they become some of the strongest beings on the entire planet. So of course, the mountain is full of people who worship the celestial demigod.
So this game's going to be filled with people trying to ascend this peak to become ascended. That's sick. Oh my god, man. I hope they do this right. Please do this right. Come on.
And I speculate this is where we could get a lot of cool armor sets. There are the Solari, who are devoted to the aspect of the sun. Then there are their rivals, the Lunari, who are devoted to the aspect of the moon. But also the tribe I assume will become a playable class, the Warriors of Rakor. Of course, besides just humans, Targon also has all sorts of furry Vastaya. Near the bottom of the mountain, you may notice that the mountain is alive.
The mountain itself.
But also there are Stellarcorns, a variety of mind-bending creatures, and loads of dragons.
Hell
Speaking
yeah.
of which, remember that this place is linked to the celestial realm. So this is
Right.
where we may also meet the star-forging celestial dragon Aurelian Soul, as well as all sorts of other celestial beings.
This is some Elden Ring level shit right here. I'm telling you, this is gonna be so sick, man. Oh my god, Walter, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Oh, sorry, I'm excited. Fig, if it has the top-down style, I won't play it. Yeah, if it has the top-down isometric point-and-click where-to-go style, I just don't. I'm gonna be so disappointed, man. You have to understand, they developed League of Legends in 2009. They couldn't pull off what they wanted to pull off in 2009. But it's 2022 now. They can pull it off now. I really hope they give us a full third-person, you know, a badass actual MMORPG that we can fully immerse ourselves into. That's what I'm just going to keep saying it. But that's what I want. Walter, you heard about the breakup? Yeah, man. Life is funny, baby. Bees make honey. And sometimes bees stop making honey and move on, you know. It's an unfortunate part of life, but is what it is. But thank you. I don't know why I'm thinking, but you know, that's, yeah. Yep. Moving on.
A lot of these would make for interesting bosses. In fact, the ascension of Mount Targon would be a really cool raid. Next, on the other side of Shurima, there is Ixtal. This is a special place where people are mastering the elemental magic. They are using it for everything: fishing, smithing, walking, and this place is definitely gonna be saved for an expansion. Basically, remember when Icathian asked the Watchers for help? And then that happened? Ixtal was their neighbor, and after they saw the Void devour an entire kingdom, they believed the Void would soon devour the entire world. So, using their elemental magic, Ixtal built massive walls of plants around their entire region,
Sick.
isolating themselves from the rest of the world. For 3,500 years, Ixtal stayed isolated, believing that the world outside of their walls was devoured by the Void. But now, very recently, some mages found out that the world outside is completely fine. So
This is going to be some Pandora type of shit right here. They're like protected by nature. Look at these, like the excavators coming in and cutting down the trees and stuff. We're going to be battling those fascists, baby. Let's go. Nature versus machine. Mage against the machine. Let's go.
So now, the Ixtali mages are slowly revealing themselves. To be honest, Ixtal is the most underdeveloped region in Runeterra. We know the region has a lot of hunting Vastaya, deadly plants and some elemental dragons, but most of the region is still a mystery to us. So at least here, Riot will have the freedom to try something new.
Yeah.
But now, we'll leave the main continent to visit the last two regions.
This place is gonna be
First
cool.
of all, there is Bilgewater.
Pirates.
If you like pirate adventures, this is gonna be your place. This is where we are going to explore inns and gambling dens, even some local temples worshipping the god of motion, Nagakeboros. Here we are going to fight pirates and sea
Was that an octopus god? What?
monsters, sea witches, sea Vastaya, maybe some demons. And possibly we'll side with Sarah Fortune to fight the king of the pirates, Gangplank. But there's a lot more here. Last year, Riot released their RPG, which was set in Bilgewater. So not only can we already explore this place in detail, but it even has a monster journal. And at a quick glance, you can already see some really cool bosses too.
Yeah.
However, this place is also linked to the last place I want to show you today. The Shadow Isles. See, every year the horrors of the Shadow Isles lurk out, and Bilgewater just happens to be the closest place. So every year, Bilgewater is fighting the undead.
What?
Once upon a time, the Shadow Isles used to be the Blessed Isles, a rich place full of advanced magic. Long story short, there was a young asshole king who wanted to revive his dead queen, and in the process he accidentally released dark necromantic magic. This magic destroyed the island and made it home for undeath. In the lore, this event is called the Ruination, and because the RPG is called The Ruined King, it may not be a surprise to you that you also get to explore the Shadow Isles there. And there they have anything you can imagine. Undead horrors creeping everywhere. And should we ever venture into these islands, I have no idea whom we're going to fight. The Ruined King who caused all of this is banished elsewhere. Thresh, who siphoned his magic after he was banished, also left the Isles. And even Hecarim, the most brutal soldier of them all, is currently around Demacia. So the Shadow Isles don't currently have a main baddie. So this is where Riot could push forward some of the side characters. Now, even though these have all been the regions that are currently set up on Runeterra, Riot has already confirmed that there is a new continent further to the east. Currently, it is planned to be revealed in the upcoming Ruination novel. And so far, we know that this new continent is where the ruined King Viego is from. And this is also where he was banished at the end of his story. All we know about that place is that it is quite mystical. There are yet more dragons here, and in fact, Kamavor, which is the Ruined King's nation, has a lot of draconic armor.
Damn,
so
he's hot.
should Riot run out of places to explore, don't worry, they can always make up more.
True.
But that's all I wanted to show you today. As someone who's been following the lore of League of Legends from the very beginning, I can tell you, I'm very confident the setting of Riot's MMO is gonna be great. Their incredible writers have been preparing the world for years now. And now, it's time to harvest the fruit. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below. Because right now, I still have 3 more topics that I could talk about in regards to the MMO.
Do it.
I especially want to talk about the potential raid bosses we can face, and the potential classes we could play. And as someone who has collected an unholy amount of transmog, I would love to show you all the cool armor sets this universe has. But that's it for this video. See you in 6 to 8 years when the MMO gets released.
No. No. I hope not, man. I hope not. Oh, I really hope not. Okay. Okay. So, now that we have... Oh, sorry. Here we go. Now that we have seen a bit of the world of League of Legends, Runeterra, we got to see the map. Like he said, this is already built. The whole world is already built. You can literally go and see it right here. You go to map.leagueoflegends.com. This is all official information. Now we're going to head into Piltover and Zaun. We're going to check out a little bit of the world of Arcane. And now if you've seen the show, you know how amazing this is. But it's super like steampunk vibe, class divide, the rich folks up top, the poor people down below and Zaun. Like, it's so badass. So we're gonna watch this little video I have called, it's a dev diary, World of Arcane. And it's the developers talking about like how Arcane came together. And they talk about a little bit about the world and stuff. Let's just see what they have to say because it's pretty cool.
I think we were really interested in the two perspectives on like the political situation between Piltover and Zaun. I think it's a good way to show that it's so easy to be very influenced by the perspective that you have and really lack an understanding of what it's actually like on the other side.
You people down here are all the same.
I think it was really important to us to show that there are merits and flaws to both sides. No one should come off as a stock villain. Everyone should feel as though the troubles that they're facing are complicated, you know, and don't have easy answers or easy outs. The magic connections you see in the show are the ones that happen between the characters who come from opposite sides of the world.
Who are you?
I think something that is easy to miss when you're caught up in a story, when you really enjoy it, is how everything that you see is a labor of love. Every background, every prop, and every character, someone spends all their time like really focusing on making it the best thing it could possibly be. When you work with Fortiche, it just gets elevated to this next level.
We really wanted to lean into just the beauty of like this art that they're producing there every day. And
So seriously, every frame of this show is like a work of art. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful work done by Fortiche. They're a French company, I believe, that worked hand in hand with Riot. They're the ones that really developed this art. It's insane. It's so beautiful. If you have any interest, I cannot recommend it enough. Go watch Arcane on Netflix. It's amazing.
it was a dream of like, we want this to exist. We want this anime series to exist that has this kind of animation quality where we can do the really nuanced kind of dramatic acting or these really deep kind of, you know, character arcs and everything. Because we had that relationship, that friendship, that trust from working together for many years, I think that was possible. I really believe that there's just genius level creative at Fortiche.
The League universe it's a place that I feel like I've lived in for many years. And so it's a joy to finally be able to, I guess, show it to the audience in the same way that I think it's existed in our imaginations for such a long time.
Here we go.
Woo. So sick. So sick. If you're at all interested in this world, you have to check out Arcane. It's insane. It's so good. Oh my God. All right, we're going to keep it rolling. We have some more of these cinematics. This is more from Arcane. This is more from the world of Zaun. This is Ekko, one of my favorite characters. As you can see, I literally have the statue that sits next to me all the time. He's my man. He's so badass, man. He has a futuristic hoverboard that he rides. I really hope that that's like a mount in the MMORPG where you can ride a hoverboard, like a hover skateboard. I think that would be so cool. 313373 watching? Question mark? Yeah, it's you. How you doing, brother? What's good? Tell me about your life. And let's see what's going on with Ekko. Ekko is definitely one of my favorite characters in Arcane. Like, look at the depth of this city. Zaun looks so cool. It's really like badass. It's like deep under the rich city, and it's like the steampunk style. It just looks really cool. See, he has this ability. He has this ability to roll back time. Sick. Yeah, he's definitely one of the coolest characters in Arcane. He's created like the rebellion against the fascist, you know, enforcers. He's created this community in Zaun. It's like one of the last living trees. It's really cool. Check it out in Arcane. It's in the last part of the season. I learned about this universe like a week ago. Amazing lore. Oh my god, man, it's so in depth. I'm so obsessed with it. I just want to be able to play this game. I cannot wait to immerse myself into this world. All right. What do we got next? So these cinematics, we're going to keep going on with these cinematics by Digic Pictures. These were created specifically for Riot Games. This has been the production company that Riot Games has been working with for years to create these cinematics. They're gorgeous. And the reason I show you these cinematics is because this truly shows the potential of what the MMO RPG could look like. And look at these different worlds. Very inclusive, different cultures. I like that.
What did you do to this thing?
You'll have it fixed by Mudtown. With currents and wind conditions, we can be there in 3 days. The mist should be leagues from here.
Well, it saved us a trip.
Senna?
Hey, we don't run from darkness.
We light the way.
Belong here.
I have crossed through death and ruination to get back to her. Return.
We just learned about him.
You will destroy this world.
She is my world.
This art style would be great for the game. Yeah, no, I fully agree. 313. If the game looks anything like this is what I want out of the MMO. You know what I mean? This is what I want them to create. I really hope it lives up to. I mean, these are just cinematics. These are like promotional. These are for promotional use. If this is what they're doing for cinematics, they have the technical abilities and the artistic abilities to create the greatest MMO RPG ever made. So gorgeous, man. That's what I'm saying, though. The potential is here.
We have to go back for her.
Senna, we can't defeat him alone.
See all those different like aspects of the world, all the different, you know, tribes and stuff all coming together. There's so much potential and it's all right there. It's already done. It's already made. Oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. Let's check this out. Gotta kick that up to 4K for you.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away.
Fascists.
You always knew that you'd be the one that would quiet.
Oh, shit. Get out of there, dude.
You'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
Caitlin.
From the
All right. Guys, this is what I'm talking about, man. I know I'm repeating myself now, but the potential is there.
Well,
he's back. We're going to continue on with the races and classes of Riot's MMO by Scuffed Jimmy again, by Scuffed Mr. Beast, aka Necrit. Just kidding. I love this guy. He really does look like Jimmy from Mr. Beast, though. It's so funny. But the world is built, guy. The lore, there's so much depth to the lore. There's 13 years of lore for League of Legends. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much depth to it. They can do anything they want with it, really. There's 13 years of lore. There's 13 years of world building. The level of quality just in these cinematics alone, the potential for this Riot MMO is just completely endless. There's so much there, man. Between like the factors of like the class divide, where there could be class wars with the mage outlaws versus the fascist enforcers and stuff. My God, and just the size of this map and like the depth of it and the detail and everything. It's just so much potential, guys. I can't stress that enough. Moving on.
I'm back. Last time we had a look at the world of Riot's MMO, and we talked about how the overall world design has been done for a few years now. If you have no idea what League's universe is about, I would recommend watching that one first.
He's still in his pajamas and slippers here. PJs and slippers. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
But now that we learned about the basics, we can dive into the other big MMO topic. The playable races and classes. When it comes to the races, just like the world, they are pretty much done. Over the years, the lore fleshed out the races of Runeterra, and now they each have their own unique story. In fact, at this point, it feels like we know Riot will not make up a brand new race. Of course, they could always theoretically do it, but I seriously doubt they would. Because that would be like forcing a new race into the world of Lord of the Rings. It would feel off among all the already established rules. I strongly doubt you wanna put a bunny person next to Aragorn. With that said, don't worry, because the lore will allow Riot to make up new races and make them feel natural. I'll show you their clever system in just a moment. But for now, just know that yes, we already know the races of this world. So the question is not going to be what races Riot is going to make up. The question is going to be, from the races that already exist, which ones will be playable? And perhaps more importantly, how will they be playable? You see, a few years back I released a similar video where we talked about the classes and the races together with TB Skyen. And today, I would not recommend you watch that video. Back then, I was still clinging onto the idea that faction-based MMOs were a good idea. It worked for WoW, and it worked for my guilty pleasure, WildStar. Unfortunately, what I didn't know is that merely a year later, the idea of faction-based MMOs would crumble to dust. That's because factions have a massive flaw. Besides the fact that PvP is almost guaranteed to be one-sided. I mean, who would want to...
That's what happened with New World, honestly. Like, the factions were so imbalanced that anytime you'd go into a war, like, one team would just have so many more than the others, and you just get slaughtered. As much as I did love New World, I love New World, but that was an issue with the game, for sure. It's just unbalanced.
Play for the losing side, especially if there is no compensation. Classic WoW is a perfect proof of that, not to mention New World. But also, if you split everyone into two sides, you are splitting up your player base. And that is almost never a good idea. You simply don't want to prevent people from playing together. The reason why in the past it worked for WoW is because Blizzard heavily played into the faction pride. People were proud to fight for the Horde or the Alliance. But even back then, it really wasn't perfect. And then people started min-maxing the game and they realized that factions didn't matter. And that's where Riot has the edge. You may know that League of Legends has a lot of different regions, where they all act independently and they all have unique relationships with their neighbors. Because of this, forcing faction alliances into this world would ruin the already established lore. So PvP factions are most likely not going to be a thing.
And they've already explored this in Arcane too, in the show. They've already proved that, you know, it doesn't matter what faction you're with, you're gonna fight together. Like with Vi and Caitlyn. You know, Caitlyn's an enforcer. She's one of like she's in a government, you know, her mother's a politician and stuff. But she teamed up with Vi from the underbelly to figure out the corruption and stuff. And it's I think factions aren't gonna really matter so much in this because I think it's gonna be all about collaboration no matter what.
However, despite that, League absolutely has faction pride. People love it when a new Shuriman champion is announced, because people love that place. And people love it when the new champion is not Ionian, because goddamn we have too many Ionians. Nearly every League of Legends player has a favorite region. And you bet when the MMO comes out, people will want to play for that region. And this is where the brilliance of Riot's world kicks in. You see, the fundamental lore of League of Legends is based around the idea that anyone can be from any region. After an event the story refers to as the Westward Migration, races mixed up all around the world. So it's not like there is a furry region where you can only see furries. There are definitely regions where you can see more furries, but this world doesn't have exclusives. This means that when you're picking up what you want to play, besides just picking a race and a class combination, I strongly suggest Riot also allows people to pick their origin, with the origin being the starting region. Without a system like this, you would force all human champions to be, for example, Noxian. And that is simply not how this world works.
No.
So I've been mumbling about how this world works for quite a while. So now, let's actually dive into all the races that exist in this universe.
Tell us, Necker.
Spoiler alert, League doesn't have too many different races, because it's focusing on depth over variety. Of course, as it is with any RPG, there is the human race. But it would be cool if the humans varied depending on their origins. For example, if you pick a human from the Freljord, they would be an Iceborn and they would have extra frost resistance. A Demacian could have a bit more magic resistance, Ionians could have a bit more nature resistance, Shurimans heat resistance, and so on. I think it's going to be crucial for Riot to preserve the feeling of every origin feeling at least slightly different. This is an RPG after all, and despite the fact that balancing is usually a big issue, I strongly believe these RPG elements have to be preserved. But if Riot is afraid of people min-maxing the game from the very beginning, focusing on the origin stat with the most value, Riot can always do the safe thing and only give each origin different customization. In the Freljord, people tend to be more pale with lush beards and Nordic tattoos all over their bodies. Shurimans have the classic dreadlock style. People from Bilgewater have the pirate crew tattoos. Piltovans are your fancy mustache people. And Ionians have the wild, untamed hair and beards.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna be an Ionian all day. Terra PvP, hello, welcome to the stream, how are you?
So even without special origin stats, I do believe these unique character customizations would enhance the region pride too. So that's what humans would be about. Pretty versatile and nothing too special in an RPG world. So now, let's have a look at the more unique races. After humans, the second most spread out race are the Vastaya. As we mentioned in the last video, the Vastaya are a race that came to be after humans started mating with magical animals. But the thing is, depending on where they are from, there are loads of different kinds of Vastaya. From cat boys to fox girls to lizard girls. In fact, here's a family tree of all the Vastayan.
Whoa, let's look at this real quick. Vastaya, humans, Vastaya, right, tribes of the sea, shapeshifters, landwalker tribes, tribes of the sky. So these are gonna be my most intriguing characters. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see what you can do with character creation, and you can use elements of like animal, you know, characteristics and human characteristics combined to create your character. I can't wait. I can't wait to create my character in this game, man. Oh my god. I just really hope they have customizable characters.
Tribes, and even this doesn't cover all of them. And this is where Riot can pull off something genius. As I said, this world already has set rules. So it would be very difficult to introduce a brand new race into this universe. However, it is going to be very easy to just make up a new Vastayan tribe. So I propose that Riot doesn't make the Vastaya as a playable race overall, but instead it would be cool if Riot let the specific tribes to be playable races. This would leave the door open for them to introduce new playable races later down the line. If they cross off all the Vastaya at once, they kinda shoot themselves in the foot. But I know, here I go mumbling about how the world works again. So let's have a look at some of the specific tribes. When I say Vastaya, most people think of Ari. She comes from the Vasani that look like foxes. Although her tribe is mostly gone, the lore can justify new members to be found, so they can be playable. The Kilash tribe comes from the jungles between Shurima and Ixtal. These lion-like people are known for hunting dangerous beasts.
They're gonna be sick.
And they take great pride in trophy collecting. It's the average mount collector. The Shimon tribe are monkey-like people from Ionia.
Whoa.
While their older members are very wise, their younger members can be very goofy.
Mischievous.
The Otrani come from Mount Targon, resembling
Whoa.
the classic goat people. Their hobbies are taking care of the Stellarcorns. The Lothland tribe are Ionians who resemble bird people. This tribe likes to combine the art of dancing with lethal assassinations. The Uvikat are something close to lizards, though they do have
Lizard
the
people.
ability to shapeshift. Out of all of the other tribes,
Lizard shapeshifters? Holy shit.
these are the closest to their pure blood ancestors. And we also technically have the Marai, the fish people whom I doubt are going to be playable. Imagine
come
modeling
on.
boots for them. Now,
I imagine how cool that would be though if there was like a whole other world under the sea, like under the water, that unless you're a fish person, you can't even venture in there, or unless they have some kind of like breathing apparatus. That could be really cool. And it could be like really exclusive, like only like if you choose to go with like that faction or that kind of tribe with your character is like the only way you can get access to that area. I mean, that would kind of be weird. You'd have to create multiple characters to get to experience the whole game. But that would be really cool if there's just like this whole nother hidden world under the ocean or something. That would be so badass.
Now, these were the more pure blood tribes. But there are many more Vastaya who don't fit any of these. For example, Set has an Ionian Vastayan mother and a Noxian human father. So he doesn't really have a tribe. Long story short, the Vastaya are an incredibly versatile race and Riot can use them in a million different ways.
Yeah.
This is where they can really go wild. But that's it for the Vastaya. So now, let's have a look at the third most popular race. The Yordles.
The Yordles.
These are the classic RPG tiny people. In League of Legends, people either adore them or hate them.
Yeah, so that was Heimerdinger, right? From Arcane. So Heimerdinger's a Yordle?
There is no in-between.
Okay.
Kinda like those guys. But not those guys, everyone hates them. There is no doubt in my mind that Yordles will be playable.
Yeah, these guys are cool.
Even though they have an interesting catch. You see, unlike all the other races on Runeterra, Yordles are immortal. They are
Whoa.
essentially modes of magic that come from a hidden magical realm known as Vandal City. And because they are made of magical essence, when they die, we don't really know what happens. But we assume they return to the Vandal City and there they respawn. With that said, the lore suggests that maybe Yordles can die, but they just can't die of old age. But let's ignore that, that's a massive rabbit hole. So, you know, when it comes to gameplay, at least corpse running is going to make sense for them. Now, because Yordles are immortal, in most cases they are always happy and cheerful. Even their home realm is very colorful because of that. But then there is also Vex, a Yordle champion who has recently been added into League of Legends, who gives Yordles an interesting perspective. You see, unlike all the other Yordles, Vex hates living.
She's a
She
sad
hates
girl?
the bright colors and the cheerfulness. You know,
She's a sad girl, Yordle?
it's the average League player. So Vex is constantly in deep depression and agony. All she wishes for is to leave this world,
pretty funny.
but she can't, because Yordles can't die. Anyway, just like all the other races, Yordles can be found all around Runeterra. There is Poppy in Demacia, Kled in Noxus, Kennen in Ionia, Rumble in Shurima, and so on. But now, so far we have only covered the races which I'm pretty sure will launch with the MMO. The humans, the Vastaya and the Yordles are the core of this world. So now we are diving into the races that still exist in this universe. But it's going to be up to Riot if they make them playable. First of all, there are the Minotaurs. The Minotaurs are different from the Vastaya because they don't have magical ancestors. They are just a standalone race.
Okay.
Originally, the Minotaurs controlled the mountains south of Noxus, but because Noxus is Noxus, soon they absorbed the Minotaurs into their empire.
In my opinion, the more factions, the better. Bring them all in. Let the people choose what they want to be. You know what I mean? Bring the Minotaurs in, bring the Yordles in, bring everybody in, bring every kind of character, and then let the people choose.
With that said, some Minotaurs fled the tyranny of Noxus and they joined the other regions. A great example is Kryl, the Minotaur fighting in the elite armies of Demacia. And yes, the Minotaurs also have the stereotypical sexy female version in this universe, so they can easily be turned into a playable race. Next, in Bilgewater, there is an incredible amount of weird fishy people.
Yeah.
A lot of these could be really cool playable races
Definitely.
when Bilgewater gets its expansion. Although modeling helmets for a hammerhead shark is going to be interesting. We also can't forget about the trolls. Previously I showed you the ice trolls, but there are also the sand trolls. And here's an interesting fact for League veterans. We have never seen a sand troll, but because of Ezreal's adventures, we know they exist. They should be around Icathia, which is where Jax is from, who also has 3 fingers, by the way. So it is extremely likely that the mysterious Jax is a sand troll. Regardless, the majority of trolls are united under Trundle, the self-proclaimed Troll King, who is fighting in the service of Lysandra, who is a baddie even though she is morally right. So since the majority of the trolls are our enemies, I doubt they will be a playable race. Lastly, let's not forget that this universe also has Yetis. Fun fact, before everything got frozen, the Yeti civilization was very advanced. They even had their own technology based around magic. In fact, Willump, the Yeti Nunu is riding on, is a hologram from the Yeti technology. But then, as the civilization disappeared, the Yetis went a bit more ferocious. So no, they won't be playable either. But that's pretty much it for the races. As I mentioned, there aren't too many different kinds, but that's because Riot is avoiding mimicking other RPGs.
I like that character design right there, that's badass.
Or elves here. Runeterra is simply trying to be unique in every way, and so far, it is working.
It is.
Now, I also have seen some people asking if Darkin will be playable. To which I have to say, that's like asking if you can play as a god. The Darkin are a corrupted version of the Ascended God Warriors. A single Darkin can annihilate an army of 1,000. Wow. In fact, the Darkin known as Aatrox is the only being in existence that managed to kill a celestial god. He stabbed someone wielding the power of the Aspect of War so hard, the Aspect of War died. So no, I don't think Darkin will be playable. Anyway, with all the races covered, assuming Riot is going to use the Origin system, this is what the playable races could look like. Humans are versatile, they are everywhere, there is not much to mention there. When it comes to the Vastaya, the common tribes can easily appear in Noxus, Piltover and Bilgewater. These are the regions open to everyone. On the other side, the Vastaya are closely linked to spiritual magic, so you will hardly find one in Demacia, since it is a firmly anti-magic region. And somehow, not many Vastaya were ever mentioned in the Freljord, so Riot doesn't have to force them there. But then we have Shurima, Ionia and Targon. Assuming these would be saved for expansions, they could be used to introduce new playable races. Since I doubt all the newcomers remember the names, the Kilash, Lothlan and Otrani are the lion people, bird people and goat people. When it comes to the Yordles, as I mentioned, they can originate from anywhere, but they do avoid the Freljord and Targon.
I think Shurima and Ionia are going to be 2 of my favorite locations. They just seem so badass.
Targon because of the harsh climates. And yes, I know there were some prehistoric Yordles in the Freljord, but after it got covered in ice, they disappeared. And lastly, the Minotaurs can be found in Demacia and Noxus. But it does make sense for some of them to flee to the Freljord, and
I want to be like a cross. I want to be a cross of like a Bilgewater pirate and like, I don't even know, some kind of like Ionian, or not Ionian, Vastayan animal. You know what I mean? Like a badass pirate animal thing. I don't know. Obviously, my name's Mr. Good Wolf, so I'd obviously love to have like a wolf-ish character. We'll see what happens. Imagine if I could make like a pirate wolf character. Like, come on, man, let's do this.
And others to travel to Ionia during the invasion. With all of this said, remember, this is just my decently educated opinion. Since the races are pretty much mixed up all over Runeterra, Riot could also lift the limitations and let every race start in every region.
That's
and
probably
I would
what
be
they'll
fine
do.
with that.
That's probably
Some
what they'll
story
do.
would be wonky, but it wouldn't be anything horrible. Although, I still believe some racial exclusivity helps the feeling of RPG.
True.
So, all of this is still only the first half of the video. If you wanna take a break and do your business without washing your hands, now's your chance.
Okay. Actually, I have to pee really bad. This was like perfect timing. I'll be right back.
It's all over the waves. All the little pieces scattered around. And you can put them in place. Or you could be free.
Wrote this in the kitchen of my mom's new house. This is me in best edition, but there's better coming out. I came out when I was 18 and my mom kicked me out. Now I'm sitting in the kitchen in a brand new house. Man, it's funny how it all pan out. Almost like the man upstairs got it all planned out. And I don't know if I believe that, but I know right now this is my moment, I'ma seize it, it won't all fall down. Letting go of the dark days I spend in my sneakers. Yeah, you can take them, try a mile if you want. Been a hard thing to find something that I could believe in, but with that water looking back, I think I got it. Life is not a problem what you make of life, so solve it. If you don't open doors, they bound to keep revolving, so bust through. Fuck all of everything they say, trust you. That's the way you make it to the places you want to. If I died right now, I'd be at peace. Fingers digging in the sand, water sitting at my feet. If I'ma end here at the beach, think that'd be fine with me. Drive the coastline till there's no more sea to see. Pedal heavy on the gas, drive away until I pass my past and all of that shit left behind the glass. And whether it be full or empty, that's a choice. I put my ear out to the ocean like the answer in his voice.
This program will continue in 5 seconds.
Did you wash your hands?
I did.
Okay. So far we only covered the races, which was definitely still the easy part. The much more difficult part are going to be the classes. This is where Riot is facing a great challenge. Partially it's because there are inherently no wrong answers when it comes to designing a class system. You can really make anything work if you put some thought into it. But more than that, Riot is challenged by the setting itself. League of Legends currently has over 160 different champions. They each have unique abilities and together they can define about 40 different classes. I counted them myself. From these, Riot has to pick only a handful to be playable, which means the majority of the classes won't make it in, and people who love those classes will be disappointed. Thankfully, I'm not a designer, so instead of trying to figure out how to make this work, I'm going to show you all the cool, unique classes this universe has. And again, because region pride is a big part of this universe, you'll see that some of these are tied to specific regions. But not the warrior. That one is different in every single region. So let's start with that. The warriors in this universe provide a unique challenge on top of the already difficult decisions. It's because in every region the fantasy of a warrior is represented by something else. In Demacia it is the Dauntless Vanguard. These are the classic knights in shiny armor pursuing justice. In Noxus, the traditional warrior would be part of the Trifarian Legion,
This guy looks
which
like a
is
savage.
a rank you can achieve after killing your best sparring friend in combat. These guys rarely use shields. In Shurima, the classic warrior is the warrior of the Golden Army.
They're
These
badass.
are fighting for the glory of the Shuriman Emperor.
I love their
In
design.
Piltover, you would have the Enforcers. Simply said, it's the cops.
Yeah.
People will know these from Arcane. But in a way,
Fascists.
the Wardens are the melee warriors of Piltover. But then, in the Freljord, warriors are represented by the Berserks, either wielding axes or giant blades as they worship the primal god known as the Iron Boar. On Targon, we have the Warriors of Rakor. which are somewhat themed after the classic Spartan armies. Then in Ionia, the classic warrior is known as a blade master, with samurai-styled swords that have a rich history in this region. Also, there are the Vuju blade masters, which are on a totally different level. The Vuju technique is so powerful it was forbidden from using it in combat.
Like natural mystic samurai. I can't wait, man. Oh my god.
The TLDR version of the story is that when Noxus invaded Ionia, Master Yi obliterated entire Noxian legions on his own. Before Noxians realized how overpowered he was, and they nuked the town where the Vuju Blade Masters were trained. So now there is no more Vuju Blade Masters, just normal Blade Masters. And lastly, the common warrior in Bilgewater would be a brawler. You see, I just named 8 different kinds of warriors. How is Riot going to handle this? I don't know. They could just make one warrior class and then just have the players play out the fantasy while wearing cool armor sets. Or they could make it so that every origin has a different skin of the class. You know, all the abilities would be the same, they would be doing the same numbers, but when a Noxian swings a weapon, there is a bloody trail, and when an Iceborne Berserk swings a weapon, there is a frosty
Frost trail. That would be a good way of keeping it balanced, because how are they going to keep this balanced? And you know, we see those issues with like even in like games like Valorant, where like some of the agents are just so OP. Now, if the races and classes, if your agent, for lack of a better word right now, if they're not balanced in this MMORPG, it could throw the whole game off. So we'll see what happens.
But again, this is for Riot to figure out.
Right.
Now I'm just going to show you all the unique and interesting classes from this universe. In Demacia, we have the Mage Seekers. These are the people who hunt down mages. They carry with them a stone disc called the Grey Mark. This is the tool that allows them to absorb magic.
Oh shit.
So this would be sort of an anti-magic class.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of iconic Demacian scouts. Also, Demacia has a lot of stories about theaters and bards. But Demacia also brought spotlight onto the Sentinels. The Sentinels of Light are people dedicated to fighting the undead. Because the undead can't really be killed with normal weapons. They use the relic stones that can be forged into any weapon. Be
So
it
cool.
a crossbow, a gun, a really big gun, or even a sword. Fun fact, in the lore, the Sentinel guns don't have triggers. You have to will it to fire with every fiber of your body. So of course, Lucian canonically fired it with his PP. Lastly, this will be unknown to even veteran League players. But Demacia put a really cool twist onto the Paladin class. You see, in League of Legends, when you play as Garen, his ultimate is to smite his enemies with a giant holy blade. This made people wonder, is Garen a mage? In Demacia? Actually, no. In the lore, Garen has never done anything even similar to this. And that's because there is something even cooler happening. Most people in Demacia pray to the aspect of justice, which they call the Winged Protector. That's why Demacia has a lot of angelic statues. Coincidentally, the aspect of justice can also be found in League, its scale. So what's happening is that when Garen is casting his ultimate, it is not him magically creating a holy blade in the sky. It is actually the aspect of justice answering his call. So even though this universe doesn't really have a paladin class, which would be casting holy spells, this would be a really cool alternative. People who worship the aspect of justice and let her answer their calls. Pretty cool, but now let's move on to Noxus. Noxians are one of the only regions who harvest black powder, so they also have their own mercenaries with functional guns.
Oh, sick.
In Noxus you can also find a lot of demonic cultists, so I would expect a warlock or a demon summoner.
Look
and
at
they
that
also have a
demon.
few renowned
4
assassin
arms.
guilds. And the most unique of them all, Noxus also has a circle of...
Like, look how... Oh, what's going on here? Look at the scale of this, though. Like, these are characters down here. Look at, like, we can possibly expect, like, big boss wars, which I can't wait. Big, massive boss battles. You know, bigger than Elden Ring, similar to like God of War style.
Unique of them all, Noxus also has a circle of hemomancers.
I hope so.
People who follow Vladimir, a lord who used to be a hostage to the Darkin, and who eventually learned how to use their blood magic. So these people use the very same blood magic that shaped the Darkin. Then in Shurima, we may find arcane mages. These people follow Zerath, the most powerful mage on Runeterra, whose body has been reduced to nothing but arcane energy.
Wow.
I would honestly love to see this class in-game, because I love the idea of having an Archon form on cooldown. Shurima also has some prophets who can open up tiny portals into the void and summon tiny void creatures. It would be sort of like Warlock in WoW. You know, use the power of the enemy against themselves. Then there are the Sand Shifters, people who can use the sand to create sand mirror images. And we can't forget about the Chronomancers, people who use time magic in a lot of creative, interesting ways. Then in Piltover, riding off of the success of Arcane, people will want to play as a Warden, which is a more elite version of the Enforcers.
Right.
These would be equipped with sniper rifles and
Caitlyn.
stun grenades. On the crafty side, there are also the Hextech Engineers. These are the people who can use science to allow them to wield magic even if they are not mages. And separate from them, there are also the Artificers. To them, anything from a powerful arm to blade legs should be possible. And down in Zaun, I would love to see some kind of an alchemist, who's using questionable drugs to help his allies. Next we go into the Freljord. Here we can find the Draklorn Inquisitors, which are Lyssandra's followers with abilities themed around true ice. Essentially, these would be frost battle mages. But perhaps the most iconic for the Freljord would be the Shamans. These worship the animalistic primal gods of the Freljord, and all their abilities mimic the primal gods.
Okay, correction. I want to be a pirate, shaman, animal warrior. Let's fucking go.
Be it a bear, a fox, a mammoth, or a
wolf?
boar.
A wolf?
Then on Targon, we would find a lot of people with celestial powers.
This guy's
you
cool
know,
looking,
calling
what?
down stars and such. But there are also the Solari who use the power of the sun to enhance their attacks. They also wear massive plated armor, so this would be the tank class. Or the Lunari, who use the power of the moon to stay in the shadows.
Oh, what?
This would be more of an assassin class.
That's cool.
Besides these, there are also a lot of Starcallers around, and even Draconic worshippers. Then in Ionia, besides the Vuju Blademasters, which would be far too overpowered, some people choose to fight without a blade. These would be the monks of Hirana. They channel the power of Ionian dragons to empower their limbs.
Come
and
on.
don't worry, they are a bit different from the traditional monks. They are far more badass. Think less Bruce Lee and more Dragon Ball. But of course, Ionia is also home to the Kinku ninjas. Their goal is to maintain balance in Ionia. This means that when a spirit starts killing people, the ninjas go out and deal with the spirit. And when people start terrorizing the spirits, the ninjas go out and deal with the people. Most of these are your classic ninjas empowered with spiritual magic, but some are using the forbidden shadow technique. And while they surely look evil, just like
Using the
anything in
power
League
of
of
the
Legends,
dark
it's
side.
not really one-sided. These ninjas are simply using questionable techniques to
Whoa, look at this guy. He looks like something out of like Mortal Kombat. He has 4 arms though. Remember Goro? That boss, the enemy in what was that? That was Mortal Kombat, right? This guy looks like a mix of like Scorpion and Goro.
protect their homeland. And honestly, the Shadow Ninjas are so iconic for Ionia, I really do believe they will be playable. Then we get to Bilgewater. Besides all the things that you could do with pirates and monster hunters, the most iconic class of this place are the priests of Buru.
What?
The Buru worship the god of motion called Nagake Boros. While they
Kraken?
are priests, they fight with full physical strength, while borrowing power from the god to empower themselves. Usually this means the god spawns tentacles to smack the enemies around. But they also have healing powers, so that would be a really cool support class. In Riot's RPG called Ruined King, you can play as Illaoi, the High Priestess of Nagake Boros, and there you can see all the attacks she can pull off. And this takes us to the last place, Ixtal, which will most likely be saved for an expansion. As I mentioned in the last video, Ixtal specializes in only one thing: elemental magic.
Yeah, it has like a nature buffer. They're like surrounded by a thick forest that protects the city. It's really cool.
If elemental mages become a class, and they should, even in
they
League,
must.
elemental dragons are a core mechanic. They would come from Ixtal. But that's it for all the unique classes this universe has to offer. Funnily enough, when I was drafting all these classes, I realized a lot of them fall under specific categories. So going with the skin idea for all the classes wouldn't be too unreasonable.
Yeah.
But developing so many artistic variations of the classes would be taxing. So overall, I believe Riot
is going to make a killing, though, of all these customizations. That's how they make their money. That's how they monetize these games. You know this game's going to be free to play, just like all their other games. And they're going to make so much money off skins. I know I'm going to be... Dude, I'm going to drop so much money on this game. I hope I'm in a better financial situation when this game comes out than I am now, because, man, I just want to build, like, the coolest character ever and immerse myself into this world so bad.
Should not care about disappointing some players for not including their favorite class. With so many options, it's going to happen anyway. Instead, pick a couple of classes that simply make sense for you. You know, a Blade Master here, an Arcane Mage there, and just have fun. Having fun during development usually translates into great experiences. And I hope I'm not pressuring anyone by stirring up hype. If anything, I'm just happy that people find these videos interesting. And all I'm doing is presenting information that Riot released over the past 10 years.
Exactly.
I mean, I know the video is interesting because Asmon only paused 3 times and he said,
"That's fucking cool."
And
I like it a lot.
And
that's what the fuck? This is actually really cool.
I love
I didn't
Asmon
know
Gold.
any of this.
That to me marks a
That's where he's who I get all my MMO information from. I watch his streams on Twitch all the time.
big success. Next time we are going to talk about all the already established raid bosses of this universe, which is a very personal topic for me. You know, I am a father.
Look at this. First of all, look at this background image right here. Look at this beast shooting this beam of light that's just destroying this entire town down here. Like, if we see boss battles on that scale, I live for this shit. I really do.
My son is 2 years old, so by the time this MMO comes out, he's going to be just the right age to heal my raids.
I really hope it's not a long time. All right. So that's a lot of information to take in right there, right? It does get kind of overwhelming at some point. We're going through a lot of information right now. I've kind of learned this stuff over the past week. I've really been diving deep and finding all these videos that I'm showing you now. And I'm having a hard time. I'm literally like writing notes in notebooks and stuff. I don't know what's going on. There's so much depth to the lore, but that's what's so intriguing about it, man. Like, this world they're going to build, or this world that they're building currently, this is happening. And I don't know when it's going to come out, whether it's going to be 2 years from now or 5 years from now. I don't know when. I'm not going to rush it. I want them to do a good job. I want them to do it right. But I'm telling you, if it's this isometric top-down style like League of Legends, so many people are going to be so mad. They really need to do it right. They need to do it third person, similar to like Elden Ring, modernized graphics, next generation experience. Please. Like these... This is why I'm showing you these cinematics, because they have the visionary there. They have the vision there. They have the capable abilities. They have the artistic direction. They have the artistic abilities and the technical abilities. Watch this cinematic right now. I really love this one. It's called Duel with the Devil. And this was just released in 2022. This is one of those 2022 cinematics that they put out for Wild Rift. Watch this. If they build this MMO RPG to the quality level of these cinematics, it's going to be the greatest game ever made. See what I'm saying? If the MMO is anywhere close to this level of detail and like just epicness, I don't even know, man. I'm just so excited. It just makes me so excited. Nano picks, doubt it's not going to be third person. They already making an isometric RPG, Project F. Yes, okay, so maybe you can tell me about Project F, because I really don't know anything about Project F, and I keep hearing about it, and I haven't seen anything about it. But so Project F is going to be isometric. I'm all set with that then. I mean, maybe I'll give it a try, but yeah, I just know myself. I'm not going to get immersed into that world, you know? So it wouldn't make much sense making the MMO isometric as well. I mean, it can't be. So many people are going to be so disappointed if they do. And I think they already have the vision. With, like I said, with like these cinematics and stuff, they have the third person vision. I just hope they pull it off. So cool.
I am not some mindless void spawn. I am so much more. I am the end of our world and the beginning of mine.
Oh my god. What? What? Oh my god, guys. I cannot even be more hyped about this. I thought I was a God of War nerd. I can't wait for Ragnarok to come out. But like, honestly, like I'm just more hyped about this Riot MMO than anything right now. All right, Nano picks. Let me catch up here. So there was a short clip when they announced other games like Valorant and Project L. Yeah, I've seen the Project L videos. That game looks pretty cool. You know, I don't know how it's gonna be. You know, it looks like a pretty simple fighter. I don't know if that's gonna really, you know, take up a lot of my time like I hope a Riot MMO will. I'm willing to put thousands of hours into this MMO, I'm telling you. Other than that, there's not much info on Project F. Okay. And okay, so I'm glad you just said that last comment too. Some people speculated Project F would be the MMO, but multiple devs have confirmed it isn't. Because that's exactly what I was just thinking. When you said Project F is being an isometric RPG, I got scared for a second. Like, that's not the Riot MMO that they're developing, right? I really hope not. Holy shit. It better not be. Alright. So I think I have another cinematic after this one. What are you guys thinking of these cinematics, though? They're pretty nasty, right? The only reason I show them is because I feel like this could be a representation. This could be what we could expect from the MMO. So what's this one? I think this is going to be the last one, guys. This is going to be the last cinematic.
The night beckons while you dream.
Like gladiator style arenas. Me too, Terra, me too.
As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door.
She looks like Charlize Theron. Like, look at this. This looks so sick. This could be what we expect right here. Like a big major battle in open lands. Big ass baddie bosses. Oh my god, yes. Fascist enforcers. And then us. A mage against the machine. Come on. Guys, I mean... that is crazy. The potential is there, guys. This is going to be insane. I cannot wait. What are you guys thinking? Nano picks with mobile PC crossplay, judging by the job offers they have up. I mean, I hope it doesn't have mobile crossplay, but... you know, I'm down for PC and console crossplay. I want this to be a truly like next generation experience that's fully immersive, something that can last for, it could be a 10-year game, you know, where you're not afraid of buying skins and putting money into it because you know it's going to be around for 10 years. Like World of Warcraft or something like that, you know. But this is it, guys. If you want to go explore it for yourself, head to map.leagueoflegends.com. You can literally go to each area. There's so much information. There's everything. Just go check it out. It's unbelievable. There's so much here, guys. There's so much. It's so badass. Oh my god. Talking about Project F, MMO will be just PC, maybe console. Honestly, I hope it is. That's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping. Oh, but you're talking... oh, Project F will be mobile. Okay, I got you. So that's why they're doing that isometric top-down, that simple, outdated style that nobody wants. Because it's going to be a mobile game. The Riot MMO is not going to be a mobile game. This is going to be just... it could just potentially be the most epic game ever made. They have enough... there's so much depth to the lore. They have enough depth in world... like a massive world built that this could be like... I hate to say it, but this could be like the multiverse in itself. You know what I mean? Like, it's so big. They truly could create like a multiverse of their own. It's crazy. The wait is long, though. I mean, well, time will tell. We don't know. We don't know anything about it yet. You know, that's the thing. We don't know anything. All we know is that they're recruiting and they're making an MMO. That's all we know. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this stream here. Because I'm going to go take my dog for a hike. And then I might be back on for a later stream tonight. What should we play? Should we keep going with God of War? Give me God of War difficulty. I think we're getting up to the Valkyries. We could get into some Valkyrie fights tonight. Or we could jump into maybe some Valorant. Do some PvP. Vibe out, listen to some music. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? What should we stream tonight? If you're new to the stream, hit that subscribe button. We try to go live as much as possible. It's not my full-time job or anything. I just do it for fun. But join us anytime. You going to sleep from EU? Hell yeah. I have so many European viewers. It's so funny. Like, how does that happen? I feel like 3/4 of the people that watch my stream are from across the pond. I feel like I only have like a couple of Americans that watch the stream. It's funny. I love it. I love it. I mean, that's my ancestry. You know, I'm European at heart. I'm Italian. I'm half Italian, half Irish. So my bloodline comes from across the pond. Well, shit. All right, guys. Good night. Nice stream. Thank you, Terra. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Thanks for joining me. Come hang out anytime. Seriously, come back. We have a small community here of gamers that love this shit, you know? We're trying to build that community. So hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button for me. It's a free way of supporting the stream. And until the next time, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun, y'all. Peace.
Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Yeah, don't endanger us. It's too many, it's way too much. Been through shit, can't make it up. Been through shit, can't make it up. Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Yeah.
I keep waking up. Can't really sleep cause I think too much. I don't really share what I'm thinking of. Thoughts running wild so I roll it up. I don't really do too much linking up. Stay to myself, I'm an introvert. All I really do is just record and work. No breaks in, feeling overworked, but I'm more alert. It's the year 2016. Me and bro, yeah, we plotting on big dreams. Got married to my high school sweetheart. Fast forward, dad looking for his green card. Immigration trying to send him to the big yard. Cry tears, yeah, that shit really hit hard. Now we about to go hard, trying to live large. Can't stop till we all see the big dog. Remember days I was working on 5th Ave. Thinking back like, damn, I need a big bag. Walking past all the stores looking big mad. Now I'm thankful for the blessings that I do have. Walk through, now they looking like who them. We the wave, now they tying down a do-rag. Pop tag, don't brag, we don't do that. Stay down, stay real, yeah, true that. Hey, if you knew what we've been through, how far we came and how we grew. Been through this, ain't nothing new. Just us two, ain't got no crew. If you knew what we've been through, how far we came and how we grew. Been through this, ain't nothing new. Just us two, ain't got no crew.
Don't endanger us. It's too many, it's way too much. Been through shit, can't make it up. Been through shit, can't make it up. Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Work couple jobs ain't make enough. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Turn to the pad and the pen they love. Yeah.